Okay, let's tackle our view before we move on. We want to make sure that we know which lesson we are watching presently, and we also want to make sure we know which lessons have been completed or not. So let's take care of that in our watch.blade.php. And what we're going to do is actually work in this for each loop. First of all, we want to attach a class of active on the active lesson. So in this for each loop, we have the lesson, the current lesson stored in a variable L, and on this PHP file, we have the lesson that has been passed into this view in a variable lesson. So what we're going to do is, right here, we're going to place an if statement. So during the loop, if L ID is equal to lesson ID, and if, then we are simply going to equal active. So right here, I'm just going to say active. Okay, so this is only going to be generated if the lesson in the current loop is equal to the lesson that was passed into this file. Next, I want to display maybe an icon to show that this lesson has been completed, maybe a check or something like that. But for now, we're going to just start simply. So if auth user has completed lesson, and we'll pass in L into that method. And then we're going to say an if right here. So we can do a couple of things. We can have a tick box, or whatever icon we want to have. But for now, just to keep things simple, I'm just going to say we should have a small text that says completed. Okay, then you can modify this however you want. So we check if the authenticated user has completed this lesson. Now we are going to decide in future if we want the user to be able to watch a lesson without being authenticated, but that will come later. And in case we want the user to watch the lesson without being authenticated, we're going to have to wrap this to check if there is any authenticated user. Okay, because if there is no authenticated user, we don't want to do this. It's going to break down. But now we're sure that the user is authenticated, so let's just work with this for now. Okay, let's refresh, and there we go. One of them has been selected as such, but then none of them have been completed, therefore we don't see this block. Let's work on firing that AJAX request to our server to actually complete a lesson.